Hello everyone, my name is Heather Morgan. I'm a black belt under Andre Galvao. I have been living out here for almost 9 years now, I think. And I came out to San Diego to train full time. I'd been training jiu-jitsu for about a year. So I came out here as a white belt and I started training at Autos, and a few months later I won Worlds as a white belt. My second year at Purple, I won Purple Belt Worlds back in 2019, and I was promoted to brown belt on the podium. And then a few months later, I then won Nogi Worlds at brown belt. This is kind of the point in my journey where I felt like everything was going as planned. I was doing everything right. I was dieting, nutrition, all that was in line. Mindset was in line to compete. Training was awesome. I felt like I'm unstoppable. Like I felt like, okay, let's get it. I'm gonna go win another title. I'm gonna go win Euros. And it was at this tournament that I experienced my first major knee injury. I actually tore my ACL at Europeans in my semifinals match. I didn't know at the time how serious the injury was. I ended up still fighting my finals match. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to win, but I thought like my knee popped, but you know, it's jiu-jitsu, like that happens. It wasn't super painful, so I felt like it's fine. I'll rest it and just chill and we'll be good. So I decided to just train through it, as most jiu-jitsu athletes do. So I finally got it looked at, found out I tore my ACL and my meniscus on this knee, on my right knee. So a few months later, I had surgery to repair it, and the recovery for ACL is usually about a year. I ended up needing ACL and then also a meniscus repair. So they sewed my meniscus back together, which they can also just cut it out. But since I had a year recovery anyways, I decided to try to save the meniscus. So a year goes by, I rehab, I do all that good stuff, get back to training. My knee's still giving me issues, so I ended up getting it looked at again, and I found out my meniscus was still torn. So I went in for a second knee surgery. And they took out part of the meniscus, and it was supposed to all be good, but I ran into a lot of problems, to say the least. Another year later, I still wasn't back to competing. Finally made my comeback the beginning of this year in January, and I got my black belt the end of last year. So I was super stoked to just get back into everything. I had a lot of points I had to get to be able to qualify for Worlds. I was super excited, so I just kind of set up this insane tournament tour at the beginning of the year, starting at Europeans, and I just was hitting tournaments like back-to-back weekends. I think I had 5 or 6 planned. Hello, thank you so much for watching the video. I just wanted to take a brief second to thank my sponsor. They're King's Kimono. They're an apparel and gi brand that have been around since 2011. I love that no matter what I may need, they have it. So if I need a heavier gi because I need it to last for hard training, they have that. Or if I want a really light gi, like this gi for competition, they also have that. So whatever I need, they have. I also love the style. They're always coming out with something really new and cool. And I don't know about you guys, but if I look good, I feel good, and if I feel good, I train good. So I always like having a nice fitting gi, so check them out. I ended up being able to qualify for Worlds, and I was at my last tournament. I was at Houston Open right before the Worlds this year. I had already gotten my points, so I technically didn't need to compete, but I still wasn't feeling quite myself, so I decided I wanted to go ahead and compete. And I had a really tough finals match with a really, really good opponent. And I ended up getting caught in a knee bar, kind of in a weird position. To be honest, I don't remember exactly the position, but I remember I was in kind of single leg X. My leg was already extended, and I was thinking about trying to defend the sweep. And she was able to sort of rotate her hips around and kind of get like a sideways knee bar. And she applied it right away, like really well. I didn't have any time to tap. She was competing like you're supposed to. She went for the submission like hard. And I yelled tap, but sometimes it's just too late. And I felt a pop, and I already knew what had happened. because I felt that pop before from my other ACL injury. So there's definitely a moment of kind of shock, I guess. I don't know, like, I don't really know how you deal with it in that moment. It was kind of just surreal. The match stopped, they helped me off the mat. I remember texting my partner and telling him, like, I'm pretty sure I just tore my other ACL. And yeah, it just kind of, I won't go into the gory details, but it was a big bummer, to say the least. I talk about it casually, but it's anything but casual, you know, especially after already dealing with the injury and thinking you're back and being ready to, you know, go for your first Worlds at black belt, being excited. I was already registered and everything, and then just kind of feeling like I was back at square one. So luckily I knew kind of the steps to take to get my knee taken care of right away. I talked to the paramedics at the tournament and they got me in to see someone the next day before I flew back to San Diego to get an MRI, so I already got that. I hobbled through the airport and made it home, and then I got the results the next day that I had tore my ACL on this side and I partially tore my MCL. So I went ahead and went to my surgeon and got the surgery scheduled. I wanted to get it out of the way as quickly as possible. And they ended up going in and they didn't have to completely repair my MCL. They just kind of had to sew it back on. They said they used like an anchor or something like that. And then I decided to go with the quad tendon graft for my ACL on this knee. And that surgery was about 12 weeks ago now. So I'm doing a lot better now. I've been doing my PT twice a week. That's like one part of my recovery. I've also been lifting 2 to 3 times a week, kind of just depending on how I feel. Been working with Alex Sterner, who owns Electrum Performance, and he's been guiding me through my lifts. I started lifting maybe 2 weeks after my surgery, just upper body to get moving again. With the PT, it's mostly been focusing on just getting my quad stronger, my hamstring stronger, my glutes stronger. I've done some BFR training in PT, which has been really good. I'm kind of past that point now, so I'm mostly doing like squats and leg press and bike and that kind of thing. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it helps you in some way. Maybe you're going through this same thing and I can hopefully help you along the way. Or maybe you already went through this and you can relate. Or maybe you are going to. You have just got the injury and you're waiting to get your surgery. I really wanted to make this series of videos sharing my experience recovering from an ACL injury, because I remember the first time I tore my ACL, I really wish I had done that. Not only for you guys, but for me, because each week there's a lot of progress you make. Even if I go back on the footage I took of my first couple weeks, I'm so much further now, so it's encouraging for me to see. But also I know none of us are alone in this, right? We've all had these injuries. No one really talks about it too much, especially full-time competitors. They don't want to admit, you know, when they're injured. It's very private. It's very just traumatic. It's raw. It's not something people want to talk about. It's not easy for me to talk about. It's not easy for me to go in and look at footage and talk about this with you guys, but I think it's important. And I think me sharing this could help someone else, and that's my goal. Let me know if you guys want me to cover any other topics. I've definitely got a long list, so there's more to come, but definitely drop a comment if you have something you would like me to touch on. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I am enjoying sharing my journey with you guys. It's encouraging for me to see my progress. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Is that enough?